Okay, so today we are going to see about orchestration tool which is called as Kubernetes. Okay, and also Kubernetes is an very important tool, and if you put in your resume that you know Kubernetes, then it would be even more focusing on your resume because Kubernetes, to be frank, it is difficult to understand and it is difficult to maintain also because as you know that right now you also know how dockers work, right? So you know how multiple containers will be there. If the count of your count of your containers and the docker machines are huge, how will you monitor them? We know that one option is using docker swarm, but docker swarm is a CLI based tool. It does not give us GUI mode, right? So it does not give you graphical user interface wherein it will be much more convenient to look and decide on different matrices that will help you to diagnose the problem which is happening in the Docker mechanism, right? So, in order to encounter all these problems or in order to diagnose all the problems that we get from the containers, we are looking at a very important and famous tool which is called as Kubernetes. So, what do you understand by Kubernetes? Kubernetes is a tool which is it is based on Google, like it is a Google tool. It is a container orchestration tool which will help you to go ahead and maintain several containers that are present across multiple machines. Like when the number of machines are huge, it would be difficult for us to maintain, right? So that's where your Kubernetes will come into picture. Kubernetes, along with all these capabilities, it also gives you the advantages like you can go ahead and scale your machines in Kubernetes, which is not present in Docker Swarm. Like auto scaling is not a property of your Docker Swarm. Auto scaling is the property by Kubernetes, where it is making Kubernetes a famous tool. So there are few differences when compared to the tool which is called as Docker Swarm or Kubernetes, but Kubernetes holds most of the advantages. Okay, it is little quite difficult to use, but it will give you much more capabilities that you can handle all your containerization machines in one monitoring tool. Okay, so for today, this is the introduction about Kubernetes. Let's go ahead and install Kubernetes because installing Kubernetes is also a difficult task. So when you start installing, if you fail in any of the steps in the middle, please don't try to make the modifications. Like usually whenever we do the other installation, if something goes wrong, we will try to modify the changes, right? Or we will try to change the configuration file and it would work. But Kubernetes doesn't work like that. So if something goes wrong in the middle, I would suggest turn off that machine, start this installation in a fresh machine. Okay, and also we are going to see the Kubernetes standalone installation. It is not a managed service. Like we have, say for example, database service, right? So if you want to handle the database by yourself, what you will do, you will take a virtual machine, you will install that database, say for example, SQL only. So we will install the SQL Server SSMS version like 14, 19 and all that. We will install, then we will have the full control over it. But if you are going to take a PaaS service, that means if you're going to purchase a SQL service in Azure, like how we created in the last class, right? We created a SQL server, we created the database, which is the managed service. Like you have the access, but the underlying virtual machine in which your database is hosted is ideally managed by Azure, right? So that is the difference between the managed service and the actual implementation you are going to do. That means actual installation of SQL, right? Why I'm telling is because you need to understand the difference.
Can you repeat this one?
Yes. So what usually happens is if you want to get a SQL server, means you want a database server or database application like SSMS, right? Because you want to work on SQL scripts. What is the option you have? Two option you have. One is to install SSMS in your server, in a centralized server. So for that, what you will do in the first approach, log into that server,
What is
download
the
that
SS,
SSMS.
SSMS or
Yeah,
What is that?
SSMS is SQL Server Management Studio. So this is an application which opens that SQL thing, right? Like the databases, you can execute the queries, create the databases, and all that, right? So this is one application, okay, database application, which is a SQL database. So that is the first option if you want to install it manually, and you will have full control over the server and the database structure and also the schema, everything, because you're installing the product for yourself. So you will be bearing the license, everything, correct? But what do you understand by PaaS? That is platform as a service. What does that mean? What does that service mean is, instead of doing all these manual activities like purchasing a server first, then installing the SQL, then paying the license for that SQL, instead of that, we have a better option than this in cloud, which is called as purchasing Azure SQL Server, right? As we saw in the last class, what we did, we wanted a SQL database. So we created a SQL server first, then we created the SQL database, right? So that was much more convenient option than doing this, because it also involves the license which you have to pay for the earlier version. So everything from that PaaS service, you don't have to worry whether your database is up always, your server is up always, if the backup is taken, how do you handle those mechanisms. So everything is managed for you by Azure through PaaS service. So Azure SQL service is a PaaS service. It is the best example for you to understand what is PaaS service. Okay, so let me give you three things. So whatever service you purchase in cloud, there are three categories. One is IaaS, that is infrastructure as a service. So in the infrastructure as a service, what all tools fall? Virtual machines, SQL databases, any service that you want to do and maintain individually and completely. Say for example, if you're creating a virtual machine, whatever components that virtual machine has, everything is in your control. If you want to manage something, or if you want to have the backup, logs monitored, everything, you will have to do it. There will be no support from Azure. That is usually called as the first service. It's the low level service wherein the full control of the infrastructure will be in your hands. If you have to do anything, you only have to impose. Okay. The second level of service is PaaS, that is platform as a service. Okay. So in PaaS, what all services will come is, right now, PaaS, the best example of PaaS is SQL Server, the Azure SQL Server service, which is managed database. The second example is an app service. So in an app service, what do you do? We created several app services, right? Web app. So in app service, what do we do? Are we bothered about the virtual machine that is running your web service? No, we are just going and creating a app service. That's all. Internally, that app service needs a virtual machine for the application to run. Agree? That one you're not creating. And that machine, if it goes down, or if patches is not there, or if security update is not there, who is taking care of all that? That is by your Azure team, because this Azure Web App Service is a PaaS service. Got it? So now you got the difference between IaaS, PaaS. Then the third solution, which is called as SaaS, that is software as a service. So here, the best example is the ServiceNow link and the Azure DevOps itself. So Azure DevOps itself is a SaaS as a service, wherein the entire product is managed by a team. Okay, because if you would have seen all the other applications, they will give you access for the databases to access. Like if you want some query and you want to report it to the higher level, that flexibility you will have. But here we don't have that flexibility. Everything is managed by them. That's where they promise you, wherever they have SaaS service as the product, they will promise you 99.95% highly available, because everything, all the resources that belongs to that product is completely managed by that team. You're only purchasing that product on licensing basis. Okay, hope the difference between all these three things are clear. Okay, so why we needed this knowledge is because Kubernetes is also has two variations. One is the standalone installation, wherein you're not dependent. It is like you are installing SQL Server in your machine. Okay, like that, you are going to install Kubernetes solution, means Kubernetes tool in your master machine and slave machine. But most of the companies does not prefer this approach because it is hard to manage. Like, you don't have anyone to manage everything for you. If anything happens to any of the nodes in the cluster, you will have to debug, and that requires more technical knowledge. Okay, for that, what had happened is we have managed service via Azure, via AWS as well. So in Azure, the Kubernetes managed service is called Azure Kubernetes Service. In AWS, it is called Elastic Kubernetes Service, that is EKS in AWS. Okay, so that is the advantage of having managed service. That means you don't have to really worry about the installation. Like if you're going and purchasing AKS in Azure, you are not going to manage the interconnection between the nodes, or if any nodes goes down due to any power issues or any kind of issues, you're not responsible for that. Automatically, if you define that a cluster you're going to create should have 150 nodes, even if one of the nodes fails, automatically it restarts one more node and it restarts all the applications that you want that node to run. That is how managed Kubernetes service is very popular, and it is very important when you're working with containers. Got it right? So let's go ahead and install the standalone Kubernetes installation, and then we will see the different functionalities of Kubernetes as well.
Okay. So what is orchestration means actually?
Orchestration means maintaining, managing, monitoring. These three.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So I want you to create two servers, whether it is in Azure or in AWS is fine, anything. These two servers, one server should have one CPU and 2 GB, 1 GB memory. Other should have two CPU, 2 GB. So yes, quickly, can someone share the screen and we'll go to and like take the document of Kubernetes. We'll be following that. Yes, I can see your screen. Yeah, go to Andalike repository. Okay. Hope the difference is clear, right, Ganesh and Ramesh?
Yes, yes. One thing that after that CI/CD,
Mm-hmm.
one question I have actually,
Yes, please.
that if CI is there, after that lot of that to be deployment, uh, that to be
Hmm.
tools are there like Octopus, lot
Yes,
of things are there.
correct,
What is
correct.
the why that one is coming? If any disadvantage is there in the CD part of this Azure or what?
No, no. It depends on what kind of requirement you're getting. Say, for example, if your company is paying for Microsoft technologies, like if your company is using all the Microsoft products, then it would be a wise decision for you to go with Azure DevOps. But if your company is a startup company or any other company who is not using Azure DevOps primarily, but still they want to make sure the DevOps is in place, in that case, they will try to investigate the other tools which can perform the same functionalities as Azure DevOps does. You can even suggest them instead of Oxygen, if you want to go ahead and you can also use Azure DevOps. You can suggest that as well. See, for the client at the end, what they want you to automate things using tools. They don't, until and unless the tool is chargeable, they won't ask you if you're using this tool or that tool. Okay, that's why I tell my students don't confuse with the tools. Take the requirement only and see how you can implement requirement. Maybe using 3 tools, you can do the requirement, or using 6 tools, you can do the same requirement. That is up to you. The knowledge we are giving here so that you grasp the knowledge of using each and every tool, decide on your basis which tool to use, which will work, which will not work. Okay. Yes. So here, can you go to the Kubernetes? Yeah, you're already in the Kubernetes. Yeah, Kubernetes docs. Yeah, open the document.
It should be a Windows machine, or it can be any.
No, it should be Ubuntu machine. Because one thing you remember, whenever you're working on containers, make sure you're using Ubuntu machines only, like Linux machines. Only then it will be more compatible than Windows machines.
Okay.
Any issues are there with facing some issues like in Windows machine or what in
Not
Kubernetes?
issues, but a few things, yes, it will be there. Like the way how you install the Kubernetes in Linux will be different. In Windows, it will be a little different. The steps will be different because here we will be referring to some path, there we will be referring to some other path. Okay. Yeah, this is Ubuntu machine, right? Yeah, can we take 18.0? That will be better than 16.0. Yes, create one. And see the location also because location also matters. And the machines, if you're not using, go and terminate it, delete it, Ramesh. Simply like
Yeah,
until
yeah.
and unless you have your free credit, that is fine.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it might be chargeable.
Should I create a new resource group, or?
You can use the existing one also, not a problem. Or create it for Kubernetes only, so that it will be easier for you to track also.
EastS it will support, right?
Uh,
Or
Sorry,
else
East
East.
US. Yeah, I think it should support. On if it supports, it will give you the size. It'll if it doesn't support, it will not give you the size.
Okay.
I think East US doesn't have. No, I think you need to like enter the image. Only then we'll get to know.
It's fine. All about it.
Oh, okay. Give East US only. East US or West Europe also should be fine. Yes, West. Yeah, try the image.
One.
If you have AWS account, then we can create from AWS also. If you're facing issues in Azure.
Yeah, yeah.
No
We
worries.
got.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
got.
But you need to select existing one only if it is not allowing you.
2 CPUs and 2 GB RAM, right?
Yeah, first one should be 1 CPU, 1 GB RAM. Second one should be 2 CPU, 2 GB RAM.
1 CPU, 1 GB RAM. Okay. P1s.
Even.
Username, password, or SSH key?
You can give username and password only.
Okay. That's it, right?
Yeah, yeah. The second one should be 2 GB and 2 cores of CPU.
Okay. We have 2 GB, 2 CPUs and 8 GB RAM and 2 CPUs, 4 GB RAM.
Okay, then select 2 and 4.
Yes.
Okay.
One thing,
Mhm.
Jayashree,
Yes, please, Ganesh.
what is the difference between the ARM
Uh,
template and Terraform then?
yeah, Ramesh, can you please go on mute? I think I'm able to hear some disturbance.
Yeah, I'm on mute only.
Okay. Yeah, now it
Fine.
is
Yes.
clear. It's reduced. That's what I. Okay. Thanks. Yeah.
So what is the ARM template
Yes.
and Terraform? What is the which one we can opt if
The ARM template is only used for Azure, but
yes.
you cannot use ARM template for any other provider. But Terraform is not like that. Terraform can be used irrespective of cloud provider. Like you can use it for AWS, you can use it for Azure, you can use it for GCP, and like 70 plus providers.
That one is also ARM template is also that one JSON format, right? I saw that one.
Yes, yes, both are same JSON format only, but the ARM is not applicable to all the other cloud providers.
Okay.
But if you're using Azure quite intensively and you're only working for Azure, then ARM would be the better option because it is what is exposed by Azure, right? So that should
Yes,
be
yes,
the
yes.
preferred one.
Okay. Because we can generate that one, that total format from here, creating
Yes.
a VM
Yeah,
and
you can keep it as a template because it is
yes,
made for Azure environment. It will be much more easier compared to Terraform.
yes. Okay.
Yeah. After you all switch to new companies, you have to get me some sweet, okay?
I'm
If,
desperately
if
waiting.
someone is like planning, I know Ganesh. Uh, I don't know if he is going to like planning for switching. Maybe it is for his internal interest, right, Ganesh?
Yes. Actually, right now the market is not open totally.
Correct, correct. Yeah.
That is the thing.
But I
And
feel it's going
actually,
on now,
they
little.
whatever. No, no, no. Actually, what is the right now? The requirement. Actually, I didn't update my CV. These things. So
Okay.
after, I think
Mm-hmm.
I'll get much more calls than.
That's what. Yeah. If
And
you. Mm-hmm.
right now also the companies are not providing that much of whatever
Not.
my expectations.
Yeah. 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 But compared to what was there 2 months back, now
Mhm.
it is quite okay because I see my students updating the resume. They are telling they are getting calls comparatively what was 2 months back. 2 months back, though, it was full zero. But right now, at least they are telling 2 to 3 calls we are getting in a day.
Actually, I am looking for a one architect type of role, not that.
Then
Uh,
it will be a little challenging.
yes. So basically, total I am a full stack developer,
Correct,
like
correct.
and Angular, .NET
Mm,
Core, all
mm,
the things,
mm, mm.
SQL Server.
Oh,
So after that, I have if I'll add that thing, then it will more much more.
much
Uh,
more. Yeah.
yes, I think this month only I will keep the certification. I'm planning for that one.
Yeah.
AZ 400.
Yes, yes. For Azure DevOps, right?
AZ 400 I will give that one.
Recently, one of my student completed Azure DevOps certificate. I think he was there. He was there in the last batch.
Mhm. No, I check with the DOMs I downloaded, but I
Hmm.
think I will clear that one, no problem.
You have to.
Yes.
Otherwise, there is some mistake from my side. That's what I feel. If you are not able to clear, no, then I should feel bad for that, not you.
No, no, no.
That's why I'm like giving the tools also in bit in detail. The Ansible Terraform. I was thinking just to show you guys how to integrate, but I'm going in deeper because it would definitely add a value. And anyways, one class or two class, if we are doing three classes, like one class more, we can learn also a little bit more, no? And that too, whenever we are learning, only we will do. Like in a group, if we start learning, we will do. If
Yes,
we are left learn alone by yourself until and unless we get a requirement, we don't learn.
right.
Yeah. Ramesh, we have both the machines,
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we have the both of
Did you
these.
connect it to Putty? Sorry, we were in a discussion.
Update the
Yeah. Go ahead and update it.
sudo nano.
No. Sudo apt-get update. And also check if you have Docker installed already, like Docker space hyphen version.
Yes.
No, I think Docker didn't get installed yet. Chance.
Okay. Okay.
Should I connect to the other VM parallelly or?
Yeah, you have to connect to both the VMs because we need to execute the set of commands in both the machines.
Okay.
And Kubernetes will follow the master slave architecture. After this installation, we'll be looking at the different components of the Kubernetes architecture.
Like
Okay,
Docker, like Docker,
like
right?
Docker. Yes.
We have to install the Docker here.
No, not now. Let's go ahead and do other things, and then we can install Docker later. Otherwise, we can even install the Docker now itself. Give me a second. It's fine. Even if you do it before also, I think it should not cause you any. You have the command to install Docker. Sudo apt install docker io. I think that is only the one. The command that is popping you up. I have it in my notepad. Give me a minute.
Sudo apt Docker. Install that one. Yes.
Same command, right? I'm going to ping you the commands as well for further reference also. Okay. Done in both the machines.
Yeah, it got installed on both the machines.
So let's go ahead and perform the other steps. So the first command that I want to execute is,
Yeah.
give me a second, I'm going to ping you the command. Of hyphen a. Okay, so why you have to do this in both the machines? Whatever commands I'm telling you, you have to do in both the machines. Why we are doing swap off is, swap off is usually used for your internal RAM memory. Like if you're out of your RAM, there will be some space will be used in addition to your RAM. Like if it is more, right? If the RAM is getting full, that is usually called as your swap space. Okay. So that one you have to off it so that our installation will not be having any issues. Okay, that's the reason we are giving swap off. Next, we are going to see a file. So give sudo su in both the machines so that we will be in the root machine, root user, so that we can go ahead and start our installation. Okay. Yes. So now go ahead and execute this one. That means you're going to open the file which is called as fstab, which is in etc. Okay. In both the machines, just open the file. Yes, that's fine. So file does not have any other swaps space kind of thing. So you can Control X, come out of it. Yes. This is only the check. Whenever you open this particular file, right, which is called as fstab, if you have anything called as swap, like usually if some space is allocated to swap, it will be under hash swap on that particular drive. Okay, if something is there like that, you have to comment it. But right now we don't have the swap space allocated. That's the reason we don't have to worry about the commenting that particular space. Okay, so go to host name. We are going to change the host name because we need to know which is master and which is slave, right? So here inside, yeah, in the master machine where you have 2 cores of CPU, name it as kmaster. Okay, what was the name you gave? This is the master machine on slave. If it
Yes,
is
yes, yes.
if it is
Master,
master,
not two
give
CPUs.
kmaster. In the node machine, give knode.
Okay.
Control X, Y, and come out. What are we doing in this step is that we are going to just change the host name just for our identification so that we know which host belongs to what. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and type in ifconfig because we are going to update the address in the next file, which is called as hosts. Okay. So for that, we need ifconfig. Just type in ifconfig in both the machines and consider the IP address which appears in ETH0. ifconfig. Yes. So here ETH0 has a IP address, right? INET 10.1.1.5. That is usually your private IP address. Okay. So that you have to make a note down wherein you will be using that IP address in nano/etc/hosts. Now you open this one, this command. Let's do it for master first and then we can do it for slave after updating the host file. Yeah, enter. Copy that. So here, yes, after localhost, hit enter. Paste the IP address. Yeah. Here type in kmaster. What you have entered in the host file right there. The word should be same, like capital, small, whatever you have used. Kmaster, what you have used there should be same. Yes. Enter. And you need to enter the slave address as well. So go to the slave machine and give ifconfig. Space slave knode, right?
Yeah. Save it.
Okay. Can you do the same thing for slave as well? Means the master node as well.
Okay.
Sorry, node 1. Okay, because we have done that. Done this in master, correct?
What again? 2 times it's something.
Yeah, one. Yeah, knode and master is 2 times. Remove the.
No.
Okay.
Okay. So now let's go ahead and do the next one, wherein you have to check if open SSH server is present. Okay. So just type in. Mostly it will be present in all the machines. This is just a cross check to see if open SSH server is required, because that will be used for the Docker installation.
Docker we have already installed. Right?
Did we install?
Yeah, we have installed Docker.
Then the step is not required, but let's confirm once again, because this will be the one which is used for the communication. Okay, go ahead and check this as well. If it is present, it will anyways tell you that it is present.
Docker.io is already the newest version.
Right. This is only to check again.
Yeah.
Now let's go ahead and do this one, wherein you need to update and get the curl command.
We are installing something here.
Yes, we are going to install the Kubernetes packages.
Okay. This curl will have all the.
No, curl is the package you need if you want to download something, right? Like downloading the files. So we are making sure if curl is present in the packages. Yeah, enter. Okay. Now we are going to install the package that is from the cloud for Google. Okay, so copy the curl and that command, not the link. Yes, curl -s HTTPS package is there. No, yeah, copy that.
Okay, from here installing the packages for
Yes,
Kubernetes.
correct. Okay, do the same thing for the other machine. Yes, right. So now let's go ahead and do this. Don't hit enter after copying this. There is one more command. You need to enter 3 command because it is not yet. We are starting the EOF. We are not ending it. End of file. You need to give the file as well. So these 3 commands you execute one by one. First is cat. Yeah. Next is Debian package of your Kubernetes.io Xenial main. That is the version of Kubernetes product that we are going to install, and then give EOF to tell that we are going to end the file.
So here only I have to give this.
Yes, yes, yes. That arrow mark is there, no? There only you paste that.
Okay, enter.
Yes. Enter and give EOF.
Capital Evo, right?
Capital EOF. Yes. Enter. Yes. There. In the other machine also, is it done?
No, 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 I'm doing it.
Okay. No. Next, do an update because we just installed the packages. We need to do an update. Yes.
So here we are installing this let.
Sorry. We are, yeah. So these are the 3 main components which will confirm that you have installed Kubernetes. So one is kubeadmin, one is kubectl, one is kubelet. Okay, so we will be seeing what these 3 components will do. Kubeadmin is usually used to control, and it is like the administrator. So usually kubeadmin is part of your master, and then kubectl and kubelet are 2 other components which will pass the command that you want to execute from your master.
Both the machines I have to install it, right?
Yes. Even if we are installing these 3 commands, like these 3 components in both the machines, we will be segregating the machines based on the kmaster and knode host names that we have given, right?
Yeah, yeah.
After that, go to this file once you install that.
Okay.
Okay. So wait, I'll give you one command. You will have to enter that inside that file.
This is the configuration file, right?
This one enter in both the files under the environment tab itself.
Okay.
You see a property called as environment. Below that, you paste this. Yes. Yeah, anywhere. Yeah, second line. After second line also you can. Yeah.
Save it.
Yes. Control X. Yes. Exactly.
So here nano file is just to view, nano command is just to view a file, right?
Yes. Yes. View
Cat
the
command,
contents of a file, and cat command is to display the contents. Nano command is to open the file and then edit it. Like it's an open the file in edit mode.
okay.
Okay, so done for both the this
Yes,
thing,
yes, yes.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
So now we have completely installed Kubernetes in both the machines. But after installing, it's like you have like we have used Docker Swarm as well. For Docker Swarm, we need Docker to be installed, right? So that step is done. Next thing is we have to init the cluster and make the nodes as the part of the cluster, right? So let's go ahead and initiate the Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so in the master node, go ahead and execute this, wherein you have to replace few things. The address, advertised address should be the address of your master node. Network CIDR, let it be anything. That doesn't matter. It is like you're telling what number of machines you need to have. So that is okay.
IP address range. Right?
Yes.
This is master.
IP address of master is, I think it is 5. 10.1.1.5, right? I don't know. Just verify once.
4, I guess.
Five,
Uh,
five,
IF
five.
Nano some command is there, right?
Nano host also you can give, even if you want, you can give IF config, that will be more.
Oh, 4, okay, sorry. 10.1.1.
This one is master.
10.1.1.5, correct. Yes. This is only you have to do it in master node. Okay. Oh, wait. No, it is not successful. It is giving you some error. Wait. Kubeadmin cannot validate component configs for API group.
Let me check once whether it is the
Mm-hmm.
master also.
Mm-hmm.
Names, right?
No, in the last time also I got this error.
Master.
Yes, no. I got this error last time. What did we do? I'm just recalling. Give Docker space -f version. Docker is installed, right?
I mean, okay.
Mm, can we go to the file, which is nano/etc/systemd, that one, kubeadmin.config? Yes, that one. Give me a minute. Okay. Can we switch off the swap off now because the installation is done? So do swap sudo. Anyways, we are in the root. So can we go back to the home directory from root? Yeah, cd home and your username, and also do the swap off. Right now it's not required. Give sudo space swap off -a. Okay. Fine. So now let's go ahead and give the init pod. Okay, give this one. Yeah, this command. You're in the master node only, no? Swap off -a. Sudo space swap off -a. No, okay, you're still in the root. That's fine. Okay, give swap off. Let's see. Swap off. It's a single command, I think. Yeah, it's a single command. Swap off space -a. Yes. Yeah, give the command which is there in the chat. Sudo kubeadmin init pod. Yeah. Okay, you have not started the Docker, right? You installed the Docker, but we did not start the Docker, correct?
Yes, we have started the Docker
Enable,
service. Yeah,
enable.
enable with.
You did enable?
Yeah. I have given enable.
Okay, can we see the status? Yes, give, yeah, give start Docker again.
Status.
Yes, systemctl status Docker. Yes, it is active. Because the error is also telling that is Docker systemd check as the Docker CF driver is systemd. Okay, do one thing. Restart the Docker. Means yeah, restart the Docker service. Give yeah sudo yeah restart Docker systemctl restart Docker. check the status. Okay, can you do the cube admin in it now?
Here it is telling something like the number of available CPUs 1 is less than the required to.
Oh. Okay, did we take one CPU?
No.
No,
Two
right?
CPU. No,
First one, second one is 2 CPU, I think. The child one you have taken.
Oh, okay, let's do one thing. Do ifconfig, check this number with your virtual machine number. I think we are getting confused with the master and slave. Yeah,
Yes.
ifconfig is having 115, right? So go to your portal, azure.portal.com.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, okay, fine. Got it. That's where it is not able to initiate.
Yes.
Okay, I think everything is fine. Like for both the machines, we had to do just paste this cube admin in it in the other machine.
Okay. Fine.
And did you name this as K-master?
Yeah. Or else we'll
That's fine.
just
It's okay.
change
That is
this.
for our internal naming only. Let's go back and initiate first, and then see the naming later. Yeah. Copy the before one only. Yes, cube admin in it. Yeah. Change the address. I think it's 114, right?
Yeah, it's on.
Yeah, it is starting.
So 1 CPU, 1 GB RAM is the master, right?
No, 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 no. That is less, no? So it should be node. Master should be 2, 2.
Okay.
Uh, In one machine, we can more than one container we can.
You can. Because containers are applications only, no? So you can run.
No,
But you need to make sure the capacity of that machine also. Like you cannot run machines which consumes more GB or more CPU, which will be running as a container. That you just have to keep in mind.
okay. Means we have to create node. Inside node, the containers are there, right?
Correct, correct. In Kubernetes, that is how the structure will work. Usually, the containers are called as pods in
Yes.
Kubernetes, and then the machines are usually called as nodes within the Kubernetes cluster.
Yeah, it got installed.
Yes. So now let's go ahead and make the communication with the this one node, worker node, right? So yeah, one thing you will have to make sure is that whatever you have here, right? Uh, See, to start using your cluster, you need to make sure that you are running these 3 commands. And if you want your worker node to join, you need to copy this command. So go ahead and copy the contents from your Kubernetes control panel has been installed till the command for that join is ending with the API key as well, SHA key, right? So till the end, and paste it in a notepad.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
This is enough, right?
Yes, until the, yeah. No. You need to copy till the end, until that kubeadmin join discover token. That is a token, right? That is the command for you to enter to the slave nodes. Yeah. After that also. Yeah. Till the next line.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Copied in the notepad. Let's go to
Okay.
the slave node.
Okay.
Okay. Give me a second. Before that, let's go to the master and you need to execute those 3 commands. Yeah. mkdir-p $home /.home is there, no? Yes. Those 3 command execute sequential. Yes.
Yeah, I've done that.
Okay. Yes. Okay. All the 3 commands is done, right? Sudo ch own is also done.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
so
Okay. Now go to the slave node, means the worker node.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So here you go ahead and give the command that you copied from sudo kubeadmin join API server, that whole thing was there, no?
Mm,
The notepad. Yes.
yeah.
Kubeadmin join. Yes. Copy the 2 commands. Yes. Till the end. Yeah. Paste this in slave 1. Yeah.
Okay.
Enter. So that it would go ahead and join the cluster. Okay. So it is telling you that it joined the cluster, right? This node is joined the cluster. So let's go back to the master node. So in the master node, go ahead and paste this one. Um, yes. To see if the pods that are attached to this cluster. Yeah, you have to execute this in the master node.
So if that worker node got attached to this master, we are checking it, right?
Yes, yes,
And there are a lot of nodes
yes,
attached.
yes. So here, carefully you need to see the process status. Okay. So for all the other 5, it is running. Only for core DNS, it is still pending, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Correct, right? So that is
Yes, yes.
because you need to install one more package. That's the reason it is asking you to like that is why it is showing pending. Okay, so go ahead and run this command, kubectl apply -f. No, there's one more command I just pinged you. Yes, yeah, copy that and paste it. Enter. Okay, what happened? No matches for Calico. 1.7 it is telling. Set inversion extension, this one. Okay, can you press the kubectl get pods again? That's fine. Yes, enter. By now it should have been in running state. Okay. Just try the command again. Let's see if the core DNS is up. Yeah, it is correct. It is the same. Did you see any difference? Both are pending only. Yeah? Okay, can you do it again? To reopen. No, it is not happening. So give me a second. Because it expects the latest apply. Okay, give me a second. Okay. Yeah, take this. kubectl apply. No, not the link. kubectl apply you give. Yeah, kubectl apply -f, that command. Yeah, above that kubectl apply -f is there. No, yeah, copy that command. Yes, that one. Okay, now it is done. Yeah, enter the same command again to see the pods. Yes. Give again. Yeah. So now you see that it is initializing, right? And also extra thing you leave because that is what was installed earlier. Yeah, give it again because it is still running. Okay. It takes a little bit of time. So yes, it is telling pod initializing, right? Yeah, give 2 minutes or something, like one minute or something. You can again run it back. Yeah, hit the command again. Sorry. So the first one started running Calico node, right? Yeah, the second one, Calico node 4F something, right? Yes. So after some time, you will go ahead and see those two are running as well because it is telling pod initializing, right? So now the Kubernetes is installed along with the pods running. Okay, give some time for it. It will start running all the services as well. Okay, keep these two machines
Yeah,
not
I
running
want.
or keep it stopped. We can restart it again.
Okay. Fine.
Okay. Yeah, can you enter now again? It is telling container creating, right? So something is happening. So now you can see all the services running,
Yes.
right? So that
Yes.
means your setup is done. We can go ahead and start working on the different pods and nodes as well. Okay, so we will understand the terminologies in deep tomorrow. Okay,
Yeah, sure.
thanks. Thank you both. Bye.